Let's get more details from one of the petitioners, Atty. Israelito Torreon, joining us today. Good morning, Attorney. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, good morning, and good morning to all viewers.
Attorney, can you expound on the main legal concerns that prompted PDP-Laban to challenge internet voting?
Well, actually, there are two parts here in this petition. One is the polite insistence for the implementation of Section 31 of Republic Act 9369 or Election Automation Law and the prohibition of online voting based on the provisions of Republic Act 10590 at the basis of which is there is no law yet which implements. Wala pa pong batas na nag-implementa po ng online voting po dito sa ating bansa at saka overseas voting po.
Right. Pero Attorney, sabi po ni COMELEC Chair Garcia, he was citing this Republic Act number 10590. No? Let me just say it to you. The law amending the overseas absentee voting law, which says the Commission may explore other more efficient, reliable, and secure modes or systems ensuring the secrecy and sanctity of the entire process, whether paper-based, electronic-based, or internet-based technology, or such other latest technology available.
Well, the
Your
answer
comment
to
on
that is we teach that in law school, verbal legis. You just read the law, authority to explore other modes or systems using automated election system and make recommendations thereof to the Joint Oversight Committee, which means that the COMELEC can explore, study, but it has no authority to implement because it can only make recommendations. The Commission on Elections, with due respect to the COMELEC chairman, is not Congress. It is not the body which is granted by the 1987 Constitution to craft laws. It is supposedly a body which is tasked to implement our election laws. So since there is no law on the matter, much as we would like to commend the good intentions perhaps of the good chairman of the Commission on Elections, the fact remains na wala pa pong batas dito. Kailangan po kasi maraming pag-usapan po dito, no? Maraming mga details po na kailangan himay-himayin bago po ito isa sa batas. Itong Section 28 is not an authority on the part of the COMELEC to act like it is already Congress.
I think he also said during one of his interviews na parang he asked also the Congress at wala naman daw sinabi na bawal ito. Your reaction to that po?
Of course, Congress is not the Supreme Court. The Supreme is the body which can adjudicate controversies. So the matter can only be resolved with finality by the Supreme Court. And that is why we wrote COMELEC and no reply. So we are forced to file a case with the Supreme Court so that the matter can be resolved with finality.
All right, so are there specific risks in the COMELEC system po that you believe could compromise election integrity? Tulad nga po itong internet voting na kayo po ay talagang kumukontra.
Hindi naman sa kumukontra, no? Hindi lang kasi nakasaad sa batas yan. And there are really legitimate fears that we have to address. Now, when we went to Hong Kong, no, prior to the arrest of President Rodrigo Duterte, na-meet namin yung mga OFWs and they aired to us, to Attorney Jimmy Bondoc, to Attorney Vic Rodriguez, to Attorney Raul Lambino, about the dangers in online voting, especially in the light of the fact na merong hacking, etc. etc. So nung nakita kasi namin yung sistema na digital voting lang, whereas yung batas natin kailangan paper ballots. Tapos kailangan merong sistema po na yung manual counting po during in the precinct level, and then sana na-implement din ito sa embassy so that we can verify whether or not the votes cast were really counted and yung resulta po sa election returns na mapalabas ay pareho ba doon sa manual counting of the votes before the results are transmitted? Wala po ito sa batas. It would have its own canvassing on its own. It would generate its own results without any assurance whatsoever as to how the results came about. No? So yun po ang mga fears po ng OFWs natin. And even here in our country, kaya nga nagpa-implement kami ng nag-file kami ng petition na ma-apply sana yung Section 31 of Republic Act 9369 because the intention really of the law is to the effect that counting should still be manual. It is only the canvassing as well as the consolidation of votes which should be electronic. And if you read Section 210 of the Omnibus Election Code in relation with Section 12 of Republic Act 6646 and now Section 31 of 9369, manual counting po. Yung electronic ay yung transmission, canvassing as well as consolidation of votes. Hindi po kasali yung counting.
Pero sinasabi po kasi ng COMELEC, attorney, itong internet voting, po pwedeng magtaas po, no, mag-increase ng voter turnout. Your reaction to that? Among OFWs,
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, we recognize that. We should do it properly. We should do it properly in the light of the fact that the OFWs are wary. They have certain fears insofar as this this online voting is concerned. There was no consultation, proper consultation, real consultation done. Are you aware that the provider of this this online voting is a Filipino company, and we have no information as to whether or not this company was able to serve in other jurisdictions in the past so that they can show prior experience. Kung mag-hire nga tayo ng abogado, kailangan siguraduhin muna natin kung nadaanan na ba niya ito, magaling ba talaga ito, meron ba talaga itong past experience. How much more here when we are dealing with the most treasured right, most important right, and that is right of suffrage, which is the foundation of representative democracy. It is in fact the bedrock upon which all rights are based upon. So kailangan pag-aralan ito ng mabuti, hindi po minamadali masyado. Although maganda yung intention, we have shown that it can be done, but let the present system work. Congress enacts the law, makes the law, crafts the law, and COMELEC implements the law. Hindi po pwede na yung COMELEC na ang mag-craft ng law at mag-implement pa ng law.
Opo. Attorney, I understand kasama po sa mga petitioners po ninyo ay mga 5 to 6 OFWs. Am I correct,
Yes.
Attorney?
Yes, yes.
So,
actually, ang dami pong pumunta sa opisina.
Yun nga po
More than 200, oo. And we could not accommodate them kasi ang yung requirement ng photocopying, yung
Right,
requirement ng notarization. So, very laborious, and kaya nga we limited it to 6 supposedly 3 nga lang sana yung gusto ko, pero yung iba gusto talaga magsama, so we limited it to 6.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that because I was wondering if you feel that ito po talaga yung majority, no, na concern ng mga OFWs natin, given that we have millions of OFWs all around the world that are going to vote this coming election. Sabi nyo nga po, walang sa side ng COMELEC, wala po pagkonsulta sa kanila. Pero po sa inyo, sabi nyo 200. Do you think that's a majority already?
Well, we only, if we will let the 1.9 registered voters to file a petition in the Supreme Court, that would cause a trouble in the Supreme Court because the sheer number of bond papers alone that would be, stacked before the Supreme Court would really cause space problems. No, we have to only get the, representations of the OFWs and overseas voters. The fact remains that they welcome online voting. No, I would recognize that, but they would welcome an online voting mechanism which is properly studied and which would, be at least minimize cheating and which would insulate them from possible fraud, election fraud. But in this present setup, no, the minimum system capabilities that would that would prevent possible hacking, cheating, to their minds and to our minds may not yet be present.
Right. Attorney, some critics are actually saying na ito daw petition na to is politically motivated and it will only suppress ang pagboto ng mga OFWs natin.
Well, that's baloney because this is not politically motivated. As a matter of fact, this is done for the Filipino people. Why? Because if this will be granted, we can still vote. Life goes on. No? We have mail voting, we have in-person voting, no? Which more or less protects really the integrity of the election process. And our intention really here is to ensure that the votes are counted. You know, casting of ballots is not the true expression of democracy. The true expression of democracy is the assurance that the votes cast are really counted. It's the assurance that your choice really matters and that it is reflected in the results of the election. Yun po ang sa akin real essence of right of suffrage.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, Atty. Israelito Torreon.